Chain reaction chaos, slushy slip and slides, wrong way wrecks, and bad drivers dodging the blame. It's all coming up today on Wham Bam Dashcam. Want to know how the back of Uncle Matt's van ended up looking like this? Check out what happened while he was driving down a slushy Michigan highway. When an oncoming driver lost control and slid sideways across Uncle Matt's lane, there was nothing he could do but brace for the T-bone collision. The impact knocked his dashcam out of commission. After his van T-boned the car, a black pickup behind him also failed to stop before rear-ending his van. Talk about a wham-bam moment. As you might have guessed, all three involved vehicles were totaled. In spite of serious injuries to the driver of the car and to Uncle Matt, he told us that, by the grace of God, everyone lived. Lindsay was giving a friend a ride when another driver illegally cut across her lane to reach a parking lot, forcing her to T-bone his Hyundai Elantra. Both the Hyundai and Lindsay's Honda Accord continued until another 3 vehicles became involved in the collision. She told us the Hyundai driver never apologized or even explained his actions. Whatever the reason for his reckless turn, one thing we know is that he did reach the parking lot. Sadly for him, it cost him his car, and he got a ticket from the police when they arrived. Lindsay told us his insurance provider isn't being very cooperative and refused to provide her with a rental car, even though she's a college student who desperately needs one. Now, she's waiting for them to send her a settlement check for her totaled vehicle. She told us that Virginia drivers do indeed suck. Did you know that we have a special episode featuring nothing but dashcam videos sent in from Virginia? We'll put a link to that video at the end of this one so you can check it out. For now, we're moving on to Florida, so hold on tight. Tara's son was driving along when he spotted a pickup driver hauling a boat on a trailer with a broken axle.
That is not safe. That is going to break. It's literally wrapped. That should not be on the road.
Well, it is.
Tara's son told us a ratchet strap was holding the trailer together, and as far as he knows, that driver is still towing it around in that condition. As he puts it, only in Florida. Christian was driving when an SUV in the travel lane nearly sideswiped his Hyundai Elantra before overcorrecting, losing control, and flipping completely over.
Whoa!
Christian told us he was freaking out and didn't know what to do, so he kept going. We searched extensively online for any mention of the wreck, but we couldn't find anything. Usually that's a good indicator that nobody was severely injured or worse. Isabel was on her way to work when she slowed down for an SUV that looked like it was about to cut her off, but instead it headed down oncoming lanes. Isabel honked to alert the SUV driver, as well as oncoming drivers, to what was happening, but the SUV just kept heading the wrong way until they reached an intersection and made a left turn. Isabel thinks maybe the SUV driver hadn't had their coffee yet that morning, but we tend to think they'd been drinking something other than coffee. What do you think? This subscriber was on a 50-mile-per-hour New Mexico highway when he slowed down to make a left turn across oncoming traffic. The driver of a Mazda Miata behind him didn't notice what was happening until it was too late to stop. Incredibly, the Mazda driver was able to swerve around our subscriber's 1950 Chevy pickup street rod. How he managed not to notice the bright yellow classic pickup stopping, we'll never know. Jake was driving. Hold up, wait a minute. Jake, are you serious? We've seen plenty of crooked dash cams, but come on. Let me fix this before we continue. That's much better. Anyway, Jake was driving down a Georgia highway when a Honda driver cut across every lane before clipping Jake's Jeep Gladiator. Jake decided to stay in his Jeep after both drivers had pulled over, waiting for the police to arrive rather than risking a confrontation with the other driver. He's thankful that Gary, his Gladiator, held strong against the collision. As Paul followed a truck hauling pipes down a highway, he kept his distance out of an abundance of caution, but it turned out that the flying debris he'd be dodging wouldn't be coming from that truck. Right after passing Paul's Subaru Forester, an old Toyota lost a tire. The explosion sent rubber and trim pieces spraying into the air in front of Paul. Thankfully, Paul confirmed there was no damage to his Subaru, and it doesn't look like any vehicles were damaged besides the Toyota. Darren was less than an hour from home when the pickup driver ahead of him changed lanes, accidentally pit maneuvering an SUV that was in their blind spot. The collision sent the SUV spinning into the guardrail before ending up backward in the travel lane, miraculously not involving any other vehicles. Darren stopped and confirmed that nobody had been injured. He told us a Custosa County Sheriff's deputy and a Georgia State Trooper responded to secure the scene and make a collision report. Darren provided the GSP with a copy of this footage captured by his Rivian R1T at their request. This subscriber also has an awesome multi-camera dashcam setup in his Ford F-150. He was towing a trailer loaded with furniture when two drivers ahead of him worked together to nearly cause a disastrous wreck. In case you missed it, one bad driver began crossing a gore point to avoid missing their exit, while another slammed on the brakes before swerving toward the only escape route our subscriber had available to avoid rear-ending them. We don't actually think this was done on purpose, but it sure seems like the two drivers' poor decisions worked together to create this dangerous situation. Thankfully, our subscriber was able to go off-road to avoid a collision, threading the needle between the car and a sign before recovering. Hopefully the furniture wasn't damaged by that bumpy detour. Mark watched another driver head the wrong way through a construction area before smashing into barrels and a concrete barrier. Mark told us he stopped and made sure the driver was okay, and he was very intoxicated. When police arrived, he could barely stay upright even while leaning against a trooper's vehicle. Brian was driving in downtown Spokane when he encountered a Tesla behaving badly. Check out what an impatient Model 3 driver did to skip traffic.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
Every time we share a Tesla behaving badly video, people run to the comments to say that their existing anti-Tesla bias has been confirmed, as if Tesla drivers are worse than any other drivers. BMW. If that's you, keep watching, because in just a few minutes we'll show you another video Brian captured of a different driver doing the exact same thing, but they weren't driving a Tesla. This subscriber was driving his Subaru Outback one night when an oncoming driver with a green light made a left turn without yielding. In spite of our subscriber's valiant efforts to avoid T-boning the turning Chrysler, the two vehicles made contact. Thankfully, both remained drivable and there were no injuries. He told us the other driver got really upset, exclaiming that his light was green. But when our subscriber pointed out it was an unprotected turn and not an arrow, he realized his mistake and calmed down. Timothy watched an SUV driver smash through construction barrels in order to avoid colliding with a U-turning driver. Timothy told us this happened the day after he installed a dashcam in his Chevy Silverado. If you still need a dashcam, what are you waiting for? Links to the ones our team uses in our own cars are in the description. The driver behind Steven left a gap for an SUV to reach a driveway, and guess what happened? When a Lexus driver blindly cut through traffic, they were T-boned by one car before spinning around and colliding with another. Steven provided a copy of his dashcam footage to the local police for their collision investigation. I can't believe we still have to say this, but people, stop leaving gaps in traffic so other drivers can make dangerous turns to reach or exit driveways. When you have the right of way, you aren't required to yield like this. That's what right-of-way means, for crying out loud. Leaving a gap is not courteous, it's dangerous. Close the gap. Okay, here comes that video from Brian that we promised you earlier. Once again, he was driving in downtown Spokane, a place I personally avoid at all costs. Brian was patiently waiting for traffic ahead to move forward when a less patient Cadillac driver tried to cut around him to make an illegal right turn. But things didn't go as planned.
There's something wrong with the bus. What is up with it? Well, and what's weird?
This time, Brian honked to warn the caddy driver that he'd already started moving and there wasn't room for their illegal turn. They kept going, cutting all the way to the other side before making a left turn instead. See? It isn't just Tesla drivers who pull this sort of maneuver. Bad drivers drive all kinds of cars. We only highlight the bad Tesla drivers because they make other drivers hate Teslas and they make Tesla drivers look bad. Come on, man. Tendo watched a white SUV run a red light right in front of him before getting T-boned by a black Cadillac. After the collision, Tendo told us the occupants of the white SUV lied to the police, blaming the driver of the black Cadillac for causing the collision. When Tendo provided the cops with his dashcam footage, the officer was grateful. Brandy was in a lane that turns toward an interstate on-ramp when a pickup driver suddenly realized that he wanted to be in that lane too. Brandy slammed on the brakes and honked, prompting the pickup driver to swerve back before continuing his lane change and cutting in front of her. She said he shook his head at her as if she'd been in the wrong. She also told us she's always paying attention for bad drivers and that Louisiana drivers are a different breed. She said she and her boyfriend Christian, who owns a Tesla, love watching Wham Bam videos together. Jordan was headed home from work and waiting in a left turn lane when he watched a car climb an island and run over a pylon before driving away. Jordan thinks the other driver must have been driving distracted when they collided with the pylon. We can just imagine them looking up from their phone and saying, "What the heck was that? Oh well." Joseph watched his friend Josh take a real-life shortcut to get around a pickup driver who'd been brake checking him. An old road that was replaced with a stop sign-controlled intersection. Hey, that's just like a shortcut in a video game. Don't forget to watch our Worst Drivers of Virginia video, or watch this episode if you want to see more bad drivers caught in their lies. Take a shortcut to the subscribe button before you go, and we'll be back next week with 20 more exclusive videos.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.